Welcome back, everyone. We've got a really interesting, deep dive ahead of us today. You guys sent over some really fascinating excerpts from Happiness, Love, and the Illusion of Fantasy. And a lot of you are asking about realistic expectations and happiness. We're also going to be kind of exploring that powerful bond between mothers and their children. So
fascinating stuff.
By the end of this deep dive, I think you'll have a much clearer perspective on what makes for lasting happiness and the different ways love shows up in our lives.
Exactly. And it's interesting how this source approaches happiness.
Yeah.
It's not just those fleeting moments of joy.
Right.
It's about this balance across like 5 key areas.
Okay.
Physical, mental, emotional, social, and spiritual.
It's like almost like a happiness recipe.
Yeah.
You need the right amount of each of these ingredients to really thrive.
To really flourish.
Speaking of ingredients, this source really digs into the science behind how something like exercise can actually boost your mood.
Oh, absolutely. Exercise triggers the release of endorphins, which are essentially neurochemicals that act as natural mood elevators.
Interesting.
And some studies suggest that regular physical activity can be just as effective as certain antidepressants.
Really?
In treating mild to moderate depression.
Wow. So if you're feeling down, a 20-minute walk could be a game changer.
Absolutely could be.
Now, this source also talks about how love changes and adapts as we journey through life. And it breaks it down by stage. Childhood, adolescence, adulthood, and later life.
It's such a good point.
Yeah.
Because the love you feel as a child, so dependent and trusting, it's so vastly different from the love you experience as an adult. Which is often more nuanced and involves greater responsibility.
For sure. It really makes you wonder how all the different forms of love have kind of impacted your choices and relationships.
To this point.
To this point.
We'll come back to that later.
Okay.
But let's turn our attention to the topic of fantasies.
Okay.
This source makes a really compelling point about how clinging to unrealistic expectations can actually lead to disappointment. And ultimately less happiness.
It's a trap we can all fall into.
Yeah.
Like, how many times have you thought that a new job or a big purchase would solve all your problems?
For sure.
It's so easy to create these mental images of a perfect life. But reality is often much messier.
It's like those perfectly curated Instagram profiles everyone's always comparing themselves to.
Exactly.
Those snapshots only tell part of the story.
Right. The source argues that these fantasies set us up for a letdown. When we face the inevitable challenges and setbacks of real life.
It's like expecting to win the lottery and having it solve all your problems. Only to find that it probably comes with a whole new set of challenges.
Exactly. The source seems to advocate for a balanced approach.
Dreaming big, but staying grounded in reality.
And speaking of intense feelings, this source also raises a really thought-provoking question about the depth of love mothers have for their children.
It's a bond that often defies explanation, but the source explores both the biological and the emotional factors that underpin this maternal love. And it highlights things like the hormonal changes that occur during pregnancy and the instinctual drive to protect one's offspring.
It delves into how that constant act of caring for a child strengthens the bond between a mother and her child.
Absolutely. There's a special language of love that develops there.
Totally.
One built on countless shared moments and unspoken understanding.
The source also acknowledges that this bond isn't always easy for others to grasp. Which is a really important point.
For sure.
It's a reminder that everyone's experience of love, especially maternal love, is unique.
Absolutely.
We were just exploring how love kind of shifts and changes throughout our lives. But I'm curious to circle back to the idea of those 5 essential ingredients for happiness. Like, how do we actually put these into practice in our daily lives?
Well, the source provides a pretty insightful roadmap, I think, for cultivating more happiness. It emphasizes things like developing our emotional intelligence. Practicing mindfulness and creating healthy habits.
Let's unpack those one by one. What exactly does it mean to cultivate emotional intelligence?
So it's all about understanding and managing both our own emotions and the emotions of those around us. It involves things like empathy, self-awareness, and emotional regulation.
So instead of just letting our emotions control us, we learn to kind of identify them. understand the root causes.
Yeah.
And respond in a way that's beneficial for ourselves and our relationships.
Precisely. Emotional intelligence really helps us navigate the complexities of human interaction with more grace and understanding.
For sure. Now, the source also highlights the power of mindfulness and gratitude.
Yes.
And I've heard a lot about those practices, but I'm still a bit fuzzy on the details.
Okay. Yeah.
Can you elaborate on how they actually contribute to happiness?
So mindfulness is all about being present in the moment.
Oh, okay.
Paying attention to our thoughts and feelings without judgment.
Oh, okay.
It's about noticing the little things,
Mm-hmm.
like the taste of your morning coffee or the sensation of the sun on your skin.
It sounds like a way to break free from that constant mental chatter.
Exactly.
And really appreciate the beauty of everyday experiences.
Yes. And gratitude goes hand in hand with mindfulness.
Okay.
It's about consciously acknowledging and appreciating the good things in our lives.
Okay.
Both big and small.
Okay.
And studies have shown that practicing gratitude can have a significant positive impact on our overall well-being.
So something as simple as keeping a gratitude journal, where you list a few things you're thankful for each day, could actually boost your happiness levels.
It might sound surprising,
Yeah.
but the research really backs it up.
Wow. And let's not forget about the importance of cultivating those healthy habits.
Absolutely.
The source mentions things like regular exercise,
Right.
a nutritious diet, and sufficient sleep
It's essential.
as being essential for both our physical and mental well-being.
Absolutely. It's about giving our bodies and minds the fuel they need to function at their best.
Right.
And, when we take care of ourselves physically, it often has a ripple effect on our mental and emotional states.
So it's not just about looking good in a swimsuit.
Yeah.
It's about feeling good from the inside out.
Exactly.
Okay, now what about the social aspect of happiness?
Well, the source emphasizes the importance of nurturing strong relationships with our loved ones, friends, and community.
It's about building that support system, that network of people that we can rely on.
Exactly. Humans are social creatures.
Yeah.
We thrive on that connection.
Right. And it's not just about having lots of friends.
Right.
It's about cultivating those meaningful relationships.
Absolutely.
The connections that really bring us joy and make us feel seen and understood.
Yeah, it makes you think about the people
Right.
who bring you that sense of belonging and support.
It's a two-way street, though, right?
It is.
We need to be those kind of people for others as well.
Absolutely. Healthy relationships involve giving and receiving support, showing up for each other, and celebrating each other's successes.
For sure. Okay, so we've covered physical, mental, emotional, and social well-being.
Right.
What about that final ingredient, the spiritual side of happiness?
So the source defines spiritual health as finding meaning and purpose in life.
Okay.
It's about connecting to something bigger than ourselves.
Yeah.
Whether that's through religion, spirituality, nature,
Okay.
or even our own personal values.
It sounds like it's about figuring out what truly matters to us and then aligning our actions with those values.
Exactly. It's about living authentically
Yeah.
and pursuing goals that bring a sense of fulfillment and purpose.
It makes me think of all those people who find deep satisfaction in their work.
Yeah.
Not just because it pays the bills,
Right.
but because it aligns with their passions and values.
That's a great example.
Yeah.
It's about finding that sweet spot where our talents, interests, and values intersect.
We've covered a lot of ground here, from emotional intelligence to mindful living to nurturing meaningful relationships.
Yeah.
It seems like there are so many ways
There are.
to create a happier, more fulfilling life.
And the key takeaway from the source is that it's not about any one single thing.
Right.
It's about finding that balance across all 5 areas of well-being.
So we've talked a lot about the building blocks of a happy life.
Yeah.
But let's maybe shift gears a little bit and revisit that really intriguing question you had about fantasies and their impact on our well-being.
Yeah, that's a topic that the source explores in depth. It argues that while having dreams and aspirations is really essential, clinging too tightly to unrealistic fantasies can actually hinder our happiness.
I can definitely see that we've all had those moments where we get caught up in imagining the perfect scenario, landing that dream job, finding the ideal partner.
Winning the lottery.
Winning the lottery, yeah, exactly.
It's easy to get swept away.
And while those fantasies can be fun to entertain, the problem arises when we start believing that our happiness hinges on them becoming true.
Totally, because reality rarely lives up to
Yeah.
Those idealized expectations.
Right.
Life is full of twists and turns, unexpected challenges and setbacks.
For sure.
When we get too attached to a specific outcome,
Yeah.
we just set ourselves up for disappointment.
So it's not about abandoning our dreams altogether.
No.
It's more about finding that balance between having aspirations and being realistic about the journey.
Yeah. The source suggests that true happiness lies in embracing the journey itself with all of its ups and downs.
Yeah.
Rather than fixating on a specific destination.
It's a good reminder to appreciate the present moment and find joy in the process of working towards our goals.
Yeah.
Even when things don't go exactly as planned.
Absolutely.
Now let's turn our attention to that other thought-provoking question you had.
Okay.
About the enduring mystery of a mother's love for her child.
Oh, it's a powerful force.
It is.
One that can be both heartwarming and baffling.
Yeah, for sure.
At times.
This source really dives into all the various factors that contribute to this unique bond, starting with the biological underpinnings.
So it highlights the surge of hormones that occurs during pregnancy and childbirth, creating this physiological connection between mother and child.
Yeah.
There's also that evolutionary aspect, the instinctual drive to protect and nurture one's offspring, ensuring the survival of the species.
It's more than just biology, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
This source emphasizes that the deep emotional bond between a mother and child is forged through countless hours of caregiving, shared experiences, and really an unspoken language of love that develops over time.
It's like this invisible thread that connects them, built on a foundation of trust, vulnerability, and unconditional love.
And while this bond is often incredibly strong, the source acknowledges that it can be difficult for those outside of that relationship to fully comprehend.
Because every mother-child relationship is unique.
Of course.
Shaped by their individual experiences, cultural influences, and personalities.
The source encourages us to approach these conversations with empathy and understanding.
Yeah.
Recognizing that there's no one-size-fits-all model for maternal love.
Well, we've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive.
I think we have.
From exploring the 5 essential ingredients for happiness to unpacking the dynamics of love and the power of realistic expectations.
Absolutely. It's been a fascinating journey.
It has.
Through these ideas presented in Happiness, Love, and the Illusion of Fantasy.
As we wrap up, I'm really curious to hear what resonated most with you from this exploration.
What insights will you carry with you?
And what steps, big or small, can you take to cultivate more happiness and fulfillment in your own life?
It's an important question.
Thank you for joining us on this deep dive.
Yeah, thank you.
Until next time, keep seeking, keep learning, and keep embracing the beauty of life's journey.
This is DigitView.